Hello everyone, welcome to GS Core. Today in this session we are going to discuss about GS Mains Advance, and the subject that we will discuss is science and technology. And the topic of discussion would be challenges posed by nanotechnology. Now before we discuss our topic of the day, let me discuss about GS Mains Advanced course. So in this GS Mains Advanced course, we would try to fill the gaps that may be present in the GS Mains preparation for all the papers, GS 1, 2, 3 and 4, so that you would be able to write better answers and thus you would be able to fetch good marks in the mains examination. So here we would be filling gaps in various GS Mains papers. Today in this session we are going to discuss about the subject of science and technology, wherein one important technology is mentioned in the mains syllabus, and that is nanotechnology. Now in the previous years, UPSC has asked questions on applications of nanotechnology, be it application of nanotechnology in health sector, in agriculture sector, or in general as well. But it is also important to know about the challenges of nanotechnology, because these kind of questions may be asked by UPSC in future. And hence, in this session, we will discuss about the challenges posed by nanotechnology. Now, before we discuss about the challenges posed by nanotechnology, it is important to understand what do we mean by nanotechnology. So, nanotechnology is a technology that deals with nanoparticles, of 10 raised to minus 9 meters size. In nanotechnology, the nanoparticles, at least one dimension should be between 1 to 100 nanometers. Then that technology would be considered as a nanotechnology. So basically it deals with nanoparticles whose size range would be of 10 raised to minus 9 meters size. Now at this particular scale of nanoparticles, that means at the scale of 10 raised to minus 9 meter, the properties of different elements that we have change. So nanoparticles have different properties than their normal size counterparts. For example, gold. Normal size gold is of yellowish color or golden color. But at the nanoscale, the change in color of gold nanoparticles is seen. At nanoscale, gold becomes red or purple in color. So that change occurs because of the changes in the optical properties of gold. Similarly, carbon or copper is not transparent at normal size. Copper, when we try to see through it, we won't be able to see. Why? Because it is not transparent at its normal size. But nanoparticles of copper become extremely transparent. And that is one of the important properties that we are able to see in the nanoparticles of copper. Then there are certain other nanoparticles. For example, if we take gold or silver nanoparticles, gold nanoparticles are not reactive at the normal size, but gold nanoparticles are highly reactive at their nanoscale. So because of these changes in the properties of existing elements, we can use these changed properties for various new applications of these materials, right? So properties change and these properties can be put to use for various applications. And that's why we have applications of nanotechnology in various sectors. In health sector, we can use gold nanoparticles for the diagnosis of various diseases. Also, nanoparticles have their applications in agriculture sector. You must have came across nano urea. So nano urea has helped us to enhance the efficiency of the fertilizers so that their use reduces. And if the use of if the use of fertilizers is reducing, obviously it is a kind of movement, it is a kind of shift towards precision farming, right? So in health we have applications, in agriculture we have applications, in electronic sector also we have applications of nanoparticles, because the chips that we use in various devices in our modern day lives, they are based on nanotechnology only. Similarly, nanotechnology has its use in the development of batteries as well. There are experiments going on to develop solid electrolyte batteries. Now, in order to improve the passage of current through solid electrolyte, what we are doing, we are embedding those solid electrolytes like ceramics or gel with nanoparticles. And as a result of this embedment of the nanoparticles in these solid electrolytes, we are able to use them in the batteries as electrolytes. Similarly, there are applications of nanotechnology in water purification, in food storage. It has applications in various fabrics as well, to make those fabrics wrinkle free, dust free and all. And that's why nanotechnology is considered as a technology of 21st century. Most of these applications of nanotechnology are right now in the experimental stage, or we have started use of nanotechnology at a very small scale. Why that is the case? Because applications of nanotechnology are there in number of sectors, which may help us solve various problems that we may face in 21st century. But at the same time, there are number of challenges involved in the use of nanotechnology. And that's why we are going slow with respect to the use of nanotechnology. Now, what kind of challenges are posed by nanotechnology? Let us discuss those challenges. So, firstly, the most important challenge is of size itself. We have discussed that because of the size of nanoparticles, we are able to have different properties which can be put to use in various applications. But it is also true that size of nanoparticles is itself a challenge. Why we are saying like that? Because first of all, if nanoparticles have extremely small size, in that case, the scientists will have to carry out the studies of these smaller materials in order to know their properties as well as their potential applications. And that itself is a challenge. We have to go to close to atomic levels in order to study the properties of nanomaterials. And that's why size itself is a challenge for scientists to study nanoparticles and to identify their potential applications in various sectors. So that is first. But this is not a bigger challenge. What is a bigger challenge that is posed due to the size of nanoparticles is related to the health threats that it poses. Now we know that size of nanoparticles is of this particular scale, 10 raised to minus 9 meters. If this size nanoparticles we start use of on a large scale, we may face various health problems. The most important health problem is related to respiratory diseases. Nanoparticles, given their small size, it is said that they not only settle in our lungs, they may even enter in our bloodstream. And one new research has also said that they may breach the barrier of blood and brain. And if that is breached, then it may pose various challenges to the brain functioning as well, right? So respiratory challenges are there because they may settle in our lungs, but apart from that, they may also lead to various blood related diseases. and even they may put an obstacle in the functioning of brain. Brain functioning will be affected. Brain functioning will also be affected. Why brain functioning will be affected? Because their size allows them to breach the blood-brain barrier. That is first. Similarly, it is not only about the size of nanomaterials that poses the challenges. It also leads to creation of what is called as nano waste. Nano waste. Now, in our cities, we are not even able to address the problem of solid waste. Solid waste is relatively of larger size. We can easily collect it. But we are not able to collect solid waste properly, and thus we are not able to take care of solid waste management in most of our cities. Now, nanoparticles are not visible to our eyes. And if we are not able to use them in a proper and regulated manner, it may lead to creation of nano waste. And nano waste, given its small size, may remain suspended in air. And if it remains suspended in air, we human beings and other animals as well, along with that, plants also will inhale, will take them inside the body. And as a result of that, it will pose lots of challenges to the animal health as well as health of plants. There may be impact on the growth potential of animals. It may also have its impact on the productivity of plants. And that's why we can say that nano waste may be carcinogenic because it will accumulate inside the body of human beings and it may lead to various kinds of cancer. So that is also one of the important challenge that is posed by nanoparticles. Now, third challenge is of reactivity. Reactivity. Now, what do we mean by this challenge? So, we know that with decrease in size, surface area, relative surface area goes on increasing. And that's why nanoparticles have larger surface area. And given their larger surface area, nanoparticles have better reactivity. They can react with different environmental aspects, let's say air, water, in a better way. And that is what is the property that we use of nanoparticles in food storage. In food storage, we can coat various food storage bins with silver nanoparticle. Silver has antimicrobial properties, and as a result of these antimicrobial properties, silver nanoparticles will be able to take care of microbes which may be present in the food stored in nanoparticle coated storage bins, food storage bins. And that will help us improve the shelf life of food material. But at the same time, we also have to understand that these nanoparticles of silver will not only be harmful to the microbes which are harmful to us. Silver nanoparticles may also pose threats to beneficial microbes that are important for our growth and development. And that's why reactivity of the nanoparticles, which is seen to be increasing, has its challenge as well. It may lead to loss of beneficial microbes. Now, that is the third challenge. Then there are other challenges as well. For example, weaponization. Weaponization of nanotechnology. With the use of nanotechnology, with the use of nanoparticles, we may develop various kinds of weapons. Those weapons may be lethal or non-lethal. For example, if we use nanoparticles, if we are able to use nanoparticles in the development of microchips in electronics industry, we can also use them for the development of micro cameras or nano cameras. Those nano cameras would threaten our privacy. And that is one of the important non-lethal weapon that we will be able to develop using nanotechnology. And that's why it is a challenge to the privacy of individuals, especially in 21st century. Similarly, nanotechnology has its threat in the form of ecophagy. Ecophagy. Now, what exactly do we mean by this ecophagy? Now, this is one of the hypothetical or the threat that we may have of nanotechnology in future, but it is important to study about ecophagy. So, it is related to nano robots. One of the important applications of nanotechnology is nanorobots. Nanorobots will help us perform various tasks and that will enhance the efficiency of human beings. But there may be a chance that these nanorobots may go beyond the orders or commands of human beings. And if that happens, they say that these nanorobots may pose threat to various ecological components. And that threat posed by nanorobots to ecological components is what is called as ecophagy. It is similar to autophagy. It is similar to autophagy, which is exhibited by one of the cell organelles called lysosomes. Lysosomes, what they do? Lysosomes are also called as suicide bags of our cells. They eat up cell organelles or cells itself, right? Cell organelle eats its own cell. That is what is called as autophagy. What is ecophagy? Ecophagy is a threat posed by nanorobots to various ecological components. And as a result of that, it may lead to degradation of the ecosystem as well. So that is also one of the important threats. Next important threat that we have is the ethical challenge. Ethical challenge of nanotechnology. We know that nanotechnology has its application in health sector. It is said that it helps in the targeted delivery of drugs, and if targeted delivery of drugs is carried out, that will help us in the cure of various non-communicable diseases. Various non-communicable diseases can be cured with the help of nanotechnology. And as a result of that, it may lead to longevity of human beings. Longevity. That means the life of human beings may increase, may improve because of the use of nanotechnology. Also, we are coming up with various kind of nutritional products. As a result of those nutritional products, the absorption of that nutrition will increase. And as a result of more or better absorption of the nutrition, human beings may become smarter. They may also become stronger because of the use of this kind of nutrition. So, if longevity is more, if human beings are more smart, more strong, that leads to creation of a kind of transhuman race. Now, this poses ethical question. Why? Because there will be certain section which would have better abilities as they have used nanotechnology. But there may be other sections of the society which might not have received the benefit of the nanotechnology, and hence they may lag behind in race from these transhuman. And hence this poses an ethical question of haves and haves not. This may also lead to enhancement in the social inequalities. Social inequalities are going to increase because of the use of nanotechnology. Fine. So these are certain challenges that may be posed by the nanotechnology. Now, apart from this, it is also important to know more about the carbon nanotubes, because carbon nanotubes have its applications in various sectors of our life. For example, carbon nanotubes, it is said that they can be used in fuel cells for the storage of hydrogen so that the storage in fuel cells improves. Also, it is said that these carbon nanotubes have their application in aviation sector for developing lightweight yet strong aviation aircrafts. Also, these carbon nanotubes are being researched as a way to use for the delivery of drugs at the targeted sites. And that's why we can say that carbon nanotubes, which are popularly called as CNTs, have applications in various sectors like aviation, health, and also in the electronic sector. So if that is the case, the use of carbon nanotubes is going to increase in future. But carbon nanotubes structurally are similar to asbestos, and that is one of the challenge. Carbon nanotubes are similar to asbestos. CNTs. CNTs are structurally similar with asbestos. If that is the case, asbestos is considered as a kind of pollutant, air pollutant, because asbestos leads to lung fibrosis. Asbestos leads to lung fibrosis. What is lung fibrosis? Lung fibrosis is a kind of respiratory disease where hardening of lungs is seen. And if lungs are hardened, it would be difficult for us to pump the air. And that leads to deficiency of oxygen inside the body. And that's why CNTs, if are used on a large scale, may pose a challenge to the respiratory system of our body. So that is one of the challenge of one of the famous nanoparticles called as CNTs. Now, we have also discussed that these nanoparticles have their application in agriculture sector as well. But in agriculture sector, if we start use of these nanoparticles on a large scale, those nanoparticles may intrude into food materials, and that will make our food material toxic. And thus, it will have its impact on the health of human beings as well. So, agricultural products may be polluted by nanoparticles, right? Because we have started the use of, let's say, nano fertilizers, for example, nano urea in agriculture sector to enhance the productivity of agriculture. So we will be able to enhance productivity of agriculture, but at the cost of the nutritional level of these agricultural products may fall because they may be polluted with the nanoparticles. So that is also one of the important challenge that we may have because of the nanoparticles. One last challenge is related to health sector. Health sector has number of applications of nanotechnology. We have discussed about the targeted delivery of drugs for cancer treatment, which will make sure that the use of the cancer treatment that is being done, that is being used right now, remains no longer useful, so that we will be able to reduce the side effect of that harmful cancer treatment methods as of now, like chemotherapy. So even in health sector, nanotechnology can be used for early diagnosis as well, right? So there are a number of applications in health sector, but there are different challenges that may be posed by nanotechnology to the health of human beings as well. Why? Because once we use nanoparticles for the treatment of various diseases, how we will be able to flush out nanoparticles that have entered in our body. So that is also one of the important challenge. How we will be able to make sure that the nanoparticles only target the cells that are needed to be targeted. Now this again remains an important challenge, and that's why there may be an accumulation of nanoparticles in our body if we start use of nanoparticles on a large scale in the health sector. So these challenges we will have to take care of before we start use of nanoparticles, nanotechnology on a large scale given their potential applications. Now, this is one of the dilemma that we have in front of us. On one hand, nanotechnology has a number of potential applications which will help us improve various aspects of our life, be it health, education, be it health, agriculture, then water, clean drinking water available, then the shelf life of food in the electronic sector, in employment generation and all. So all those important applications of nanotechnology are there. But at the same time, we have these many challenges that may be posed by the excessive use of nanotechnology. And hence, what we need is the regulation of nanotechnology. Nanotechnology need to be used in a regulated format. And for that, government will have to come up with various guidelines for various sectors which are trying to move towards the use of nanoparticles and nanotechnology. Once we have proper regulations, we will be able to have a mechanism, we will be able to have standard operating procedures for addressing the problems related to nanoparticles like generation of nano waste. So once we have those regulations in place, we can consider that the use of nanotechnology will be carried out in a highly regulated manner, and wherever it is needed to improve the performance, to improve the life of human beings, there we will be able to use it without any excessive use of nanoparticles. And that's why Government of India has also started various initiatives like Nano Mission in 2007, so that we will be able to know more about nanoparticles, their potential applications, and today we'll have to add one more aspect to Nano Mission related to the challenges posed by nanoparticles. So that is about this particular session. So in this session, we have tried to understand the challenges that nanoparticles, nanotechnology may pose to the life of human beings as well as to other life forms, including animals and plants. Why it is important? Because UPSC has asked various applications of nanotechnology, and that's why there is importance to know more about the challenges that nanotechnology may pose to human beings and other forms of life. So that we have covered in this particular class. I hope you have understood the challenges related to nanotechnology. Thank you.